Hi everyone, and welcome to another short video. And before we start, as always, uh, please take note of the risk warning or markets. As you know, trading can be a very risky business, and you should only trade with money that you can afford to lose. I'm sure you've heard that before, and I'm sure you know it very well indeed also. Let's drop that out the way. And what I've actually done is just a little bit of just for a little bit of fun, actually. This is, you've probably seen this workspace many times before. This is the multiple time frame workspace for one of the index futures. I'm on the YM here now. This is just at towards the end. In fact, we're at the end of the session for the US session on US futures. Markets have just gone through 9 o'clock for us, our time. And it's been just an absolutely blisteringly good day across all the markets, particularly for forex traders on the dollar and the yen, and also for index traders as well. Some great, very, very strong moves. But really, just what I wanted to do was open up the 5-minute chart. As you can see here, we've gone 9 p.m. our time, so markets are now moving into the latter part of the session. But what I wanted to do was really scroll this back, because as you can see, this is 2:30 our time. So this is when US markets open for us. The physical opens alongside the electronic. So we've got Globex and cash markets running in tandem. This is when we get the big surge in volume, which is what we always expect to see. We get a lot of volatility open, as always. But I really just wanted to scroll it right the way back, pull it across, and go back to really the London Open. Here we go, and the start of our trading day, if you like, at 8 o'clock here. This is London Open, and we just had some terrific moves. And the point I wanted to make is really twofold. First of all, a lot of traders, and this applies very much to traders who are not in the Northern Hemisphere, think that they can't trade on Globex alone. But actually, Globex, when it's trading in isolation, you can see the volume here is demonstrable. If I scroll it back and bring in the 2:30 open, there we go. For us, this is the US markets getting underway. It's very compressed, but actually, when you move that out of the way and you're just looking at the Globex volume in isolation, it's very demonstrable. It's very tradable. And the other thing you also find with trading in Globex alone is that you'll find the market is much more even paced, if you like. It's much more considered. The price action tends to be smoother, and you don't get so much volatility. We get a huge amount of volatility as the market gets underway at 2:30 our time. But outside of that, as you can see from the price action, it is pretty measured. And we had this really, really nice waterfall throughout the morning, lovely volume coming in, really confirming this price action. Down we go. It's really solid, very nice price action, very tradable, nothing really scary there. Then we start to get, a little bit of buying coming in, a little bit of compression. You can see, it's trying to move deeper in that particular move. We get some weakness here, trying to move deeper, but then the volume's coming in. So we're getting some compression here in terms of the downwards pressure, the selling pressure. So the selling pressure in this candle is very much being absorbed because we've got quite high volume, but the spread on the candle is relatively narrow. So at that point, the price waterfall, the bearish sentiment, which has been going on for a couple of hours since the open there, is really starting to come to an end. We're starting to see some decent buying coming in here, just really compressing that candle, and that's confirmed with the next one. So it doesn't come as a great surprise. If we're bearish on this at the market and we start to see this, then we see this coming in. That's good solid buying. We've got a nice up candle. We've got good volume under it. And it's kind of signaling to us that, perhaps this bearish trend has come to an end, temporary pause point. And that's also signaled, interestingly, on the trend monitor. Up to that point, the trend monitor has been bright red, and of course you use this in multiple time frames. Then starts to transition and go into a darker red. So, you know, this trend is weakening. Now we go into a fairly extended congestion phase for a couple of hours or so, and then of course we start to come into the potential open of the US, you know, 1 o'clock here, our time, US markets opening up here as well. What's nice about it is we then get a real pickup in volume. We get that move confirmed again. You know, we're down to the downside. We get a lovely rising volume. On down we go. Then we start to see, you know, compressed candle there again. Maybe some buying coming in here. Look at this volume here under here. You know, maybe we're starting to see again. Is this going to carry on? Possibly not at that stage. We're not too sure, but it certainly looks as though it may not. Little bit more buying came in there as well. So that's really signaling as well. And now we're into the US Opens come in here, and now we get the strong volatility, huge increase in volume as we move into the US session full blown. And then of course we're waiting, because you want to wait for the markets just to calm and see what's going on. Quite choppy in here. And then gradually we start to see the volume point of control has come into play here. We've got some levels coming into play. If you've just done a video on Tesla with these levels that build around the volume point of control, this is the VPOC control, the VPOC itself, in other words, the fulcrum of the market, which is the yellow dash line. We expect to see congestion. We've got some very strong levels starting to build. Here we've got a little cluster here. They're not terribly strong on their own, but when you put them together as a cluster, nice ceiling of resistance for a potential breakout. This was our floor down here as well. In this case, you know, where are we going? Are we going to break to the upside? Yeah, we're starting to see that. And the trend monitor has transitioned through to blue as well, as you can see here. Now we're starting to move up. And the sort of thing you're looking for as we move, first of all, through these levels, which first act as resistance and then they act as support. Now we're acting, you know, we've got resistance here, we've broken through. The sort of price action you're looking for, the confirming price action, is really these sorts of move like this. This is a classic where you've got widening spreads, the market is rising nicely, it's all looking very positive, and that is also supported by rising volume here. It's a really nice, you know, 4-candle arrangement, which really gives you some confidence if you're breaking away from a congestion region like this and you're starting to think, okay, we've seen a bit of buying coming in here, a bit more here, we're going to break to the upside. Yeah, we've got some good volume. And also what's interesting here, we've got the trend monitor, which has now transitioned right the way through. Yeah, we had a bit of chop here, but back into darker blue, and now we're in solid blue, really just confirming the move. And then we get a little bit of retracement here, but we get some more buying, some supportive buying coming in here. And then we get the next candle appears, which is nice. We've got a nice up candle with good volume on it. So again, it's confirming that. And this candle is interesting. Let's scroll that over a little bit. This one is very interesting. The market's retraced. Now at that point, you might think, is this market retracing? Is this trend coming to an end? But look at the volume under here. You know, it's not significant. It's certainly lower than some of these guys over here. And yet the spread is double this one maybe, you know, 2.5 times maybe. And yet the volume under it is very low. If this were a true reversal, in other words, there was heavy selling coming onto the market at this point, then you would expect to see this volume bar much, much higher. I'm looking over here, see if I can find something comparable. And you saw a similar sort of thing here as well. If you look at the volume in here and this trend lower, you know, the volume here is falling on those two, but it's actually very lightweight in terms of the volume to the downside. So again, you've got quite a widespread candle here, but really the volume here is not telling you, it's telling you that the selling pressure there is not as strong as it should be. In other words, it's really just a marked down price. It's not supported by equivalent volume, in other words, and you've always got to watch and look out for these sorts of signals, which are so important. So that was an absolutely key candle. It might have frightened you out of the market at that point, say, oh my gosh, the market's going to crash, going to come all the way back down here. But no, when you look at the volume, it's not particularly strong. So, and of course you'd be looking at this in multiple time frames as well, in exactly the same way. We're just looking at one chart here, but you'd be looking in multiple time frames. and then up we go to where we are at the moment. And of course, we run out of steam because we come to the end of the trading session, end of the trading day. And the trend monitor has supported you right the way throughout. Even through these phases of price action, you've got pivot high, then you get a pivot low comes in here, pushing price back up again. But the trend monitor here is really supportive, and that's what we developed it for, was to really help you stay in a trade through those phases of price congestion. So I thought it was a bit of fun just to show you that, to move really through a complete session, if you like, and try and pinpoint, highlight some of the key things that you've got to look out for all the time. Obviously, you're looking for volatility candles, you're looking for 2-bar reversals, you're looking at support and resistance, you're looking at all these sorts of things, but really look at these little run-ups here like this are absolute gold. When you've got a trade going and you see this develop, it is such a confidence builder. I can't tell you how strong that is. It's really, really good to see. And also this little signal here, when you see that, your emotional response is, I've got some profit, I better close out, Just look at the volume. What's the volume telling you? It's telling you sit tight, don't worry, it's fine. There isn't heavy selling coming in at this point, and then we get the 2-bar reversal, and we expect the market to carry on from there. So I hope you've enjoyed that one. A real short video, and more of these to come. So thanks for watching. See you soon, and bye for now.